I'm gonna go ahead and start. Hi, my name is Christina. I'm with the Living Archives Project. Uh-oh. Okay. So would you like to share your name with the archives that will result from this interview, or would you like to use a pseudonym?
I'd like to share my name, and it is Germaine Patterson Smith.
Okay. What city and state do you live in?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
How long have you been a Charlotte resident?
Since 1977.
Okay. What are the most important things that you know about the coronavirus?
The most important thing is to protect myself, and that it is no joke. It is a pandemic that will wipe us out, either from a race standpoint, as well as a gender standpoint, as well as an age standpoint. My knowledge has been to track it. I am fully vaccinated, and soon we'll get the booster. I took the Pfizer shot, both dosages, and it is a scary, scary thing, but we continue to embrace technology such as today, actually. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. What effect has the crisis had on your friendships or relationships?
As it relates to friendships, we have realized that we have to be respectful of the pandemic, of the unknown. The other thing of it is that we have to encourage each other to stay healthy, to make great decisions. As it relates to friends who have a different thought and opinion, we're respectful, but we're not combative in the process. And also it's important to be educational. So reading everything we can possibly get our hands on, as well as encouraging each other to make the best decision long-term, to stay healthy, connecting with our medical advisors, our physicians, what have you, in that direction. As it relates to my family, my husband has an underlying condition. He is a kidney transplant patient, and actually received that transplant here at Atrium. So we have, in the nephrology division of Metrolina nephrologists, they are phenomenal with him. So we are respectful again with the pandemic, but really any disease, any unhealthy medical thing going on, such as the flu or what have you. He is really continuing to work, but also at the same time, we're taking all precautions. And the only reason I don't have a mask on is because we're on Zoom.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Speaking of masks, how did it feel at the height of the pandemic going out with the mask and gloves? How was that for you?
Well, actually, my husband received his kidney transplant almost 7 years ago. And when he received it, we were already wearing masks and gloves.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to adjust and to adapt. And it was just really interesting. People used to really stare at us very strangely. So when the pandemic hit, we just really made sure we went to the N95s every time, more so than just the regular mask. So we just pretty much increased the budget for the supply of those items. And because we want to live, we want to continue to live a healthy life. But in order to do so, to take those precautions, we had already adjusted and adapted to it very easily.
Well, do you have any fears, or did you have any fears at the height of the pandemic? And it sounds like, I'm sure there's a ton, but would you like to share any of the fears that you had?
Yes, the fears of friends, relatives who did not take the pandemic serious. The fears of coworkers, the fears of strangers walking up to you and purposely coughing on you. And so we started to actually make sure that we, if we had to go to the grocery store, we would go at prime time for people who needed to be protected in that category. So it was nothing to go to Walmart, and I'm not pronouncing any particular retailer or grocery chain, one over the other. There were several: Public, Food Lion, there were many, Harris Teeter. We would go to those locations extremely early when they open and would get in and get out. But also a greater blessing that came to us was my sister. I have a younger sister. She said, I will pick up your groceries. I don't want you guys out there. And she said, let me get what you need. And understand what I said. She stripped away all those things we didn't need, and we moved on from there. Yeah, so that was a greater blessing. And so I can count the times we go to the grocery store in months.
Wow, that's a good sister.
Yeah, Gretchen.
Was there I'm sorry, was there a time that you stepped in to help someone affected by COVID?
Absolutely. So I do case management for an organization called Health for Her. And with this particular organization, actually it's a women's clinic. It's no such thing as a 8 to 5 or 9 to 4 type job. Finding resources to help people to realize they have to go to the doctor, which was outside of my parameters, but also at the same time, I saw what they didn't see. I could forecast what they weren't willing to embrace because their environment did not embrace. And my heart would sob. It would ache for the simple fact that who they listened to really did not want them to succeed in many, many different ways. So, yeah.
Have you been spending your time in any new ways?
Oh, yes. My children are grown, and I box up many things. I can't believe that I never saw it. I knew it was there, but I'm cleaning out my home. Cleaning it out. And guess what? I'm melding things to our children. And they're like, oh, you don't want to keep it there? No, I want my space. No. So yeah, we've noticed things like that. So we're doing those type of things, but also we wave at our neighbors more. We don't visit. They stay on their side of the street, we stay on our side. We analyze, where are we in this life? Are we where we should be, can be? We review our investments more now, realizing that life could change in a matter of a second. Of course, we knew this before the pandemic. Also tithing, also giving more to those who really need. Not that we have all that, but we're sharing a lot more than ever before because we've had time to think about it. Really have.
I like that. Could you describe a fear or a sorrow you experienced during the pandemic?
Relatives passed, several who were very, very special to my family and to my core family here. And we could not attend their funerals. But let me correct that and say we made the best decision not to attend their funerals because of the peak of the pandemic. We didn't walk around saying, well, if it wasn't for this, or we didn't deal with people challenging us to say, you should have gone on. You could handle that a little bit. We did not endure any of that. And you know, you're only as strong as people think you are, but you carry yourself where people will not approach you with doubtful words. And we don't give that to people either. So there were several relatives who passed, same on my husband's side. And we just really, we struggled with that, but we found someone attending with camera, like their children or something like that. A number of the funeral homes actually did Zoom in. And that's probably why I was able to get back on really well today. Yeah, they Zoomed in, and it was just really, really heartwarming. And then we made it a point to send things, to make phone calls and things such as that. But that was probably the most difficult component during the pandemic.
Are there any lessons you learned during the pandemic? And if so, what is the biggest lesson or lesson that you feel will live with you for the rest of your life?
Take nothing for granted, live every day well. And living every day well isn't investing in me, it's helping to pour into others. If we don't pour into others, that's where we're at a loss. If we can help one another in such a different way than ever before, it's more than, can I buy you a meal? Hey, how you doing? And listen to what the person really is saying, but also, what is it you're saying? But what's in between that? There's a gap in your conversation. What is it you really want me to hear that you're uncomfortable sharing? Also accepting reality. Life could end today.
Mm.
And have I positioned my children to be in the best understanding of their lives?
Mm. What is something that you missed or you weren't able to do during the pandemic that you look forward to once this is over?
Vacation with my family.
Mm.
And vacation doesn't necessarily have to leave Charlotte. They could come right here, it'll be fine. But to do it with a greater level of freedom, a greater level of enthusiasm, and to be able to get out in our yard and not be concerned that we're going to contaminate someone or they contaminate us. It's that togetherness. To me, that is imperative.
Mm. So this is my last question.
Okay.
What is your biggest hope as we move forward? And this could be for you, your family, the community, or the world at large.
My greatest hope, and this has been a prayer for quite some time, that we all will step out in understanding of what God's will is for us. If he put me here to be the Pied Piper, that I will do that well, that I will embrace that and pursue that. If he puts you here, he put you here for many dynamic things, that you will pursue that, because when the world comes together, it fills the gaps in that are so very much missing, that we will grow stronger, understanding that you have a purpose, I have a purpose, we all have our different gifts that God has given us. If we put them to use, we will end up being in a better place, in a better country.
Oh, I love that. I've done a lot of interviews, and that was the first time I heard that. I really like that. Do you have any photos, writings, or artwork, anything else additional that you would like to share and preserve within the historical archive?
I do a little bit of writing every now and then, just a little bit. I will go over that with my young adults and make sure they're giving me thumbs up.
Okay.
And I will just send you just a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
And most of mine are just sayings that we all have our own little idioms that we say. So they call mine lectures.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video for now.